All right, what is up, everyone? So, I just got done my gym session today, and I wanted to make the intro for this video. So, basically, this is going to go over progressive overload, what it is, how you can use it, what it's going to do for you, and that's it. It's going to be a more informational video, lots of talking. I might throw in some posing, kind of just for a physique update, since as of today, I am 3 weeks out. For you, it'll be a day later than today. But I want to say thank you for tuning in. Progressive overload is something super important to use within your training, throughout your week, throughout your months, throughout everything. And it's really going to promote the most muscle growth and strength increase. And we're going to dive a little deeper into it than just that. But a basic overlay is it's adding weight or reps over time, which will increase your muscle growth, stimulus, and strength. Now, I'll go through the ways that we can progressive overload. I'll go through the ways that I progressive overload, and I'll go through the benefits. But we'll all start off with just the definition of what is progressive overload. And then we'll kind of pick it apart, take it piece by piece, and get deeper and deeper as we go. I'm not sure how long the video is going to be. I think it's simple, but also complicated at the same time. So I'm going to try and make it really easy to understand because it's such a big deal in your training. See, because what progressive overload is you going into the gym with a plan, how you're going to better yourself and better your muscles every day versus just going in and being like, oh, this feels easy or oh, this feels hard. You kind of go in with a plan, you know what you're going to do, and it makes training easier, and it even makes just everything happen a little faster if you were to just plan your day instead of just going in there and doing random amounts of weight for random amounts of reps. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, so the basis of progressive overload, the definition would be the ability to, over time, place more stress on the muscular system. So that means a couple different things. So if you break it down into how you put stress on the muscular system and the muscles, you're looking at the amount of weight that you can put on them or the force that you're putting on them and the amount of times you can do that. AKA the weight that you're doing and the reps that you're doing. So that being said, progressive overload is the ability to, over time, add more weight for more reps. So you started with 5 pounds, you did it for 2 reps. The next time it's 5 pounds for 3 reps. That's progressive overload. Then eventually you go up to 10 pounds. You guys get it. Right. So that is the pure basics of it. So to continue along that pathing, progressive overload is the ability to take your bench from 1 plate to 2 plates, to take your lat pull downs from 130 to 230. Now, is there a set time period? No. And that's the interesting thing about progressive overload, is it's happening over such a long time period, it's never ending. At the end of the day, because to continue to grow, you continue to progressive overload, you continue to load more weight and reps. Okay, so stress on the muscles. My muscles, I could curl 10 pounds for 100 reps, right? That's not going to do much for me. That's just random numbers, by the way. Not going to do much for me. I've been spider curling 45s. So if I do that with 5 pounds instead of 45s, I'm going to have to do so many reps to put that stress on my muscles, right? This is where training intensity pokes its way into progressive overload. Because if I do 5 pounds for 10 reps, I'm nowhere near failure. That's not enough stress on my muscle for it to develop, have more strength, and get more reps. Therefore, I'm failing progressive overload. Therefore, I'm not going to build stronger and bigger muscles. Okay, so let's take a look at what progressive overload will do for you. So, progressive overload, if you're able to do more reps, that's going to put more stress on your muscles and grow your muscles, right? So we're promoting growth in our muscles, we're promoting stimulus, we are promoting stress, which is growing our muscles over time, of course, with adequate dieting and keeping that all in check. So those reps leading up to putting on muscle, and then we are adding more weight, which is increasing our strength and increasing, again, because of the fact that our muscles need that stimulus, increasing the weight is putting more stress on our muscles that we weren't able to do before, which is, again, if your diet is in check, increasing your muscle size, strength. So those reps leading up to putting on muscle, and then we are adding more weight, which is increasing our strength and increasing, again, because of the fact that our muscles need that stimulus, increasing the weight is putting more stress on our muscles that we weren't able to do before, which is, again, if your diet is in check, increasing your muscle size, strength. These are the basics that if you correctly progressive overload will happen. You will obtain bigger muscles. You will obtain stronger muscles. And that is key to your training. As long as you can get your diet on, if we can put our training through progressive overload, we will be able to become stronger and larger. Okay, so how do you progressive overload? That's the biggest question at this point, because we know it has all of these great benefits, but how do we do it? I haven't been over it yet. We're going to go over it right now. So first off, I would start writing down every single one of your workouts. I have a notebook filled with pages. And when I say pages, I mean pages of my workouts. This is my workout notebook. Here's the first workout I did in it, 11/1/21 to tomorrow. I update it with today's workout. I mean, we're going back months. So I would log every workout you do, the reps you do, at the weight you do, if you're doing it tempo, if you're pausing it, if it was a bad rep, if you failed the rep, if you did half a rep, I log all of it. Because that way I can go into every session with a plan, and I know what I did last session. I know what I did the last time I did the exercise, so I know what I should aim for this time. This also goes into rep ranges. You know, I'm not doing 3x12, 3x10, 3x8. With compounds, my bench squat deadlift, when I used to do them, yes. But with this and my isolations and my other compounds that aren't SBD, I'm taking it in rep ranges. And I work through different rep ranges depending on where I am at the start of the weight. So let's go through all my rep ranges. It will normally be 6 to 10, 8 to 12, 10 to 15, 12 to 15. And then I move on to the next weight. Now that will change a little bit. Sometimes it's 8 to 15 depending the amount of sets that I'm doing. But basically the first time I do a weight, I'm doing it for either a top set of 6 to 8 and just one set, or 3 sets of 6 to 10. This is because I've never touched the weight before doing the exercise, whether it be this certain way, with this pause, with this tempo, yada yada, all the specifics. But it is so that I can get a feel for the weight, and because I would only be able to do those amount of reps. You don't get under a bench of 225 for the first time and hit it for 15, you hit it for 1. This is the same idea. You gradually work each session to hitting 1, 2 more reps a set. So if the first time I touch a weight, I do 3x6 to 10 at 100 pounds, I hit 10, 8, 6. The next session I go in, it's 3x8 to 12, I'm still at 100 pounds, and that's okay. And then I hit 12, 10, 8. Now that's very linear, doesn't happen often. But that's a 2 rep increase on each set. So therefore, if you compare from week 1 to week 2, I did 10 reps week 1, 12 reps week 2 of set 1. So you always want to compare within your sets and see what you're doing. Because if you compare set 1 to set 3, oh, well, I hit 10 on set 1, but I only hit 6 on set 3. You're fatigued at that point, and you'll be the same amount of fatigued as you were the last week. So you can't compare between your sets, but during your working sets, compare week to week where you are. Now, are you always going to get more reps? No, you'll plateau. I plateau. Now, that's going to happen and it sucks, but once you figure it out, you start to solve it. You go back, you drop the weight, you do more tempo, you do an extra pause, you do an extra few reps, you do one less set, but more reps. You do another set, but less reps, and you start to work with that weight or lighter weight to get better at the movement itself. Now, all of this done correctly over time will increase all of your lifts to go up. Now, it's not going to be skyrocket, it's not going to be super slow, but it's just going to be its own path. You know, everyone's going to be a little bit different. Each movement is going to be a little bit different and take more time, and that's very dependent on where you're weak or you're strong, because it's your training. Now again, to do this, you have to also be training intense. If you do 5 pounds for 10 reps, and then you walk in next session and you just throw on 10 pounds, you're not going to hit it for 10 reps. And if you do 5 pounds for 10 reps and it wasn't hard enough, and then you try and do it for, 8 reps, you're not going to increase that lift because you're not training hard enough. This is where the saying harder than last time comes in. And you can't always train harder than last time. You're not always going to hit an extra rep. You're not always going to be able to up the weight. These things take time, and especially at like a commercial gym, which I'm sure most of us go to, you're not always increasing by 5 pounds. Sometimes it has to be by 15. Sometimes it has to be by 10. Even 5 pounds sometimes is too much. And that's why people create stuff that, you can increase by just littler increments. That's another area where if you plateau, this is also an issue. One thing is too easy, but the next peg up is too hard. And that starts to become an issue. That's where you have to go back and really work your technique around and go super tempo and just get as much stress as you can to be able to move to the next weight. So when I do move to the next weight, we'll go back to that 100 pounds. I'll be doing like a 3x12 to 15. I'll hit 15, 14, and then like 13 or 15, 15, 12. And be like, man, I'm really being able to rep this weight out. Especially if I hit over 15 reps on a set. And then I'm like, man, this is getting really easy. I'm getting to the top of my rep range every time. I think it's time to move up. So then, depending the movement, I schedule myself the next training session to go in, do a warm-up set or a feeder set, and then I'm at 110 pounds, 105 pounds, again, it depends the jump that you want to make, and it's the jump per movement. I'm jumping 15 pounds in my lat pull-downs, but my lateral raises, I'm not just jumping 15 pounds every time I'm ready to move up. So that'll be very movement dependent, but what's not is kind of going to be your rep range. You're still going to start with low reps, you're still going to train intense here as hard as you can, and then you're going to end up with high reps and train as intense as you can here, and then eventually you'll be able to up the weight 110, 120, 130, and that will be the same way that you're going to increase that lift, which will give you size and strength in your muscles. Now, there's a lot of other factors in this. You will go in and have days where it's off and you're like, man, this feels extra heavy. That's fine. So I don't even log for some of those days. Oh man, I got 5 hours of sleep and I normally get 8. That's an off day. You may not perform as well. Oh man, I didn't have pre. Oh, well, if you just started your break, you may not perform as well. Oh man, I'm sick. I'm coming off of sickness. You're not going to perform as well. And that's okay. This goes back to you can't always get that one extra rep today. You can't always. And that's okay. We just want to see progressive overload over a longer time period. Compare by the end of a month if your lifts have gone up or you've hit more reps. Not week to week, session to session. That can be too much sometimes. And, it depends. Some people will go week to week because their strength genetics or their bulk. So, if you're cutting, you can expect to lose weight. Weight and strength. So that's kind of everything you guys need to progressive overload. Log your workouts, increase your weight, increase your reps, and you'll do everything necessary as long as your diet is in check to increase your muscle size and strength. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Use this as a key to engage your workouts Everyone have an amazing day. Code BUCKEDUP22 get you 20% off this stuff. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and I will catch you guys later. Go get massive. You got this. Progressive overload, you know.